So, um, like I said, my channel is gonna be it's more about health, spirituality, and esotericism, religion. I throw in a little bit of religion stuff in there too, but mainly it's all the same. You got to realize it's all the same thing. So one of the things, and it just feel like I don't have too much time under the circumstances. So one of the things that so health. That's my main premise. I'm pretty good at that. Like I understand how the body works. I used to do research and development for Monsanto, Bayer, so I know a little bit about pharmaceuticals and the body. So I'm gonna just give a couple brief stories, if you will. Um, so when I was like 11, perhaps, right, going through puberty, I'll never forget that. Um, I'll never forget when I was like 11. I think I was in fifth grade. All of a sudden, you get the surge of testosterone, and um, usually with the surge in testosterone, you also get an increase in estrogen. So what happened was I had gotten uh, gynecomastia, right? What that is, it's like you get so much of a surge of testosterone that your body naturally has to raise the estrogen. So with that raising of estrogen, you get, a lump under your nipples. So I was only 12 years old, 11 years old. And I'll never forget because I was tripped out. You know what I'm saying? So I remember asking my mama, I was like, yo, ma, do I got cancer? And she looked at me like, nah, you ain't got no cancer, man. Stop tripping. So let's fast forward this to um when I was like 19 or 20, right? I did some steroids. I did like a cycle of steroids. And so when you would do the cycle, you would also need to like so okay, you get some testosterone. I got like some sustanon. Just sustanon. And you get some, you get the testosterone, but you also need to get an anti-estrogen, which would be like Clomid or Novadex, right? Anastrozole. And that way you can keep the testosterone from converting over to estrogen via the aromatase process. So, keep that as a mental note. 11, puberty, gynecomastia, um, 20 years old, steroids, Clomid, Novadex. All right. So now 10, 15 years later, my mom ends up getting cancer. And, I'm looking through her little pantry drawer or whatever. And guess what I see? Clomid. It was probably Clomid, maybe Femara. So these were anti-estrogen. So that told me right there when she had it that it has something to do with hormones. And that's an easy correlation because it happened to me. And then, I ended up taking steroids and the same thing. Now, my mother, you know, growing up with her, one thing I noticed with her all the time was a few things. One thing was she was always stressed out. She was always like worried and stressed out about something, whether it was schooling or the kids or my dad. So stress. She was always super stressed out, like tripped out all the time. The other thing is her hormones. So I knew her hormones was always out of whack because I used to observe. So her face would always break out. So that told me her hormones was out of whack. Now, add this again to I used to hear stories about her when she was younger, and obviously you can see that with her now. She was kind of like an aggressive type of woman, like she didn't take no mess. So um, she liked to fight a lot when she was younger. So that told me something. with her hormones being out of whack, stressed out, so on and so forth, that her ailment when she had gotten breast cancer, it was mainly stress and hormones, and she drank a lot of sodas. So we'll just say sugar. So boom. So now remember, and then that's why if you look on my page, I got the little juicer thing. This is kind of why I did that. But it's for overall health too. It'll help you out with anything, obviously, and I'll get to that. Um, so she had a friend that used to come by, and her friend, um, I'm gonna get y'all into a whole bunch of stuff. So her friend um, was like, "Look, you know what I'm saying? I got the same breast cancer diagnosis, and I'm not taking no chemo or nothing like that. I'm gonna just take these juices. Here's a couple for you." So she would come by every other week and drop these juices off to my mama. But my mom's was so into, you know what I'm saying? Once a doctor tell you something and you don't really know nothing, they got the test and all of that. It's fear. So that's another thing I want to get to too. Uh, One of the main reasons for dis-ease is belief. So when you go to these doctors and they tell you, "Hey, you got 6 months to live," you don't got no basis of no test. You don't know what they talking about. You ain't no doctor. You didn't go to school for nothing like that. So for the most part, you'd have to believe anything they tell you. So my mom, she believed what they told her. You got cancer. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. Instantly, it's almost instant death sentence because, excuse me, um, and doctors know this too. Placebo effect. You tell somebody they're gonna die, so just put in point of case. Let's just say, hey, you got 6 months to live. All right, you got cancer. Knowing what the doctors know, what they should do is come up to you and be like, look, we seen something, but you know, man, regardless of what we seen, we have the best technology, we got the best doctors, we got the best everything. Don't worry about it. You're gonna be all right. That'll set you at ease rather than hearing a death sentence, you know. So my mom took the death sentence, and as soon as you do that, your body reacts to what you think. Think hypochondriac. A hypochondriac is nothing is wrong with them, but if they think that something's wrong with their liver, oh yeah, their liver is going to support that. So another thing upon the idea of belief is, um, so what the idea is, her friend didn't believe what the doctor said. Her friend was like, you know what, I'm gonna heal myself with some juices. Not only did the juices obviously have nutrients and that type of stuff to heal you, but that's not what it is. The main thing is that woman's belief in the fact that she can heal herself with these juices, and it happened. So now, um, another thing about the belief and that your mind doesn't know the difference. All right. So I'll be doing a little. I got my little workout book, right? So one of the main things I work on is the mind muscle connection. So as an example, when I go into the gym, you just picture doing the workout before you get in there, and what you'll notice is that, you know, your blood vessels and all of that, you can feel your body actually thinking that you actually working out. Now, to take this even further, um, one time I was like, you know what, let me test this out. So, you know, I closed my eyes, did a meditation, and I pictured, you know, I wanted to jump out of a plane. So, you know, you've seen movies, you can kind of imagine it. So I picture from the whole jump, from like going into the training place, you know what I'm saying, at the airport or whatever for a week, and you know, training, and then actually being on the plane. I picture the sounds, the smell, the movements of the air, and everything. Me, you know, up under the guy that's about to jump off with me, and what I started to notice was, as I'm meditating on this, my body is reacting to it as if I'm really in the plane. So just to make it short, I jump out the plane. My brain couldn't tell the difference. I'm sweating, my hair stood up, my heart was racing. My brain couldn't tell the difference. So, in regards to the placebo effect, when you go into a doctor and they tell you something, this is what I can't tell you for sure. And this is based on their protocols. When you go into a doctor, um, and they tell you something, they're trying to get you to believe something. They're trying to get you to believe that something's wrong with you. I'm gonna leave it on this note because I'm not feeling too good right now. But another thing is, so there's pillars to the health. Like there's really no disease or anything like that. There's only an idea of the mind. So I'm gonna leave it at that right now because, like I said, I'm getting kind of tired. But I'll get back to it. We're gonna call this one a disease of the mind.